Hello everyone, I am Xerix, Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to Century of Economy! When we left off, gold islands and locations had refilled and tensions were mounting between the eastern factions. Now, on to the action! New French runners make sail toward the Fitu. The French plan to create a chain exploring system with the purpose of processing silver and other valuable coins from Voyanui. A shot of the waters around Triangle Island. Maneuvering room has gotten even tighter as more and more ships arrive in this area. At the end of their turn, the French launch at St. Pierre on the Portal. Feu de Foudre with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. Waiting for a ship with an explorer, the Spanish find metals on the Pathway Island. At Split Island, spices are found. Lumber and metals are the most valuable resource the Spanish have, and so the Spanish stockpile them on their home island. Finally freed of the Sargasso, the Príncipe de Asturias lurches forward and docks at the castle, declaring hostilities and handily winning the boarding action. This places the final tower of the castle under Spanish control and gives them total control over the castle. On the western side of the castle, Spanish ships move away from the dangerous storm and create an offensive line aimed at the Americans. Joining the capital ships on the front line, the Atlantis is in perfect position to use the 2 Marines assigned to her. High-value silver is processed at the home island. The sparkly silver 1 is worth 3 times its face value before any other gold modifiers on the Saragossa are applied. At the end of their turn, the Spanish launch at the lagoon, Kinohi Island, and at Castillo del Infanta. Crescent Moon with Kier Din, captain, helmsman, and oarsman. Valoroso with Marx Miguel Antonio, helmsman and oarsman. El Algeciras, with captain, helmsman, oarsman. Santa Lucia, with helmsman and oarsman. La Manila, with Fernando Sanchez, Bianco's haulers from Savage Shores, helmsman and oarsman. La Bahama, with captain, helmsman and oarsman. The Loki, with captain, helmsman and oarsman. And the Hrunting, with captain, helmsman, and oarsman. Acting quickly, the Americans dock several ships at the castle and attempt to seize the entire structure at once. With 10 ships boarding the castle at once, the Americans narrowly win the boarding action and take total control of the castle. Archway Island is explored, with spices being found. The Cheyenne eliminates another iceberg. Not totally trusting the French, the Egan follows the brave Selkirk back to French waters. A wide shot of the lines of battle between the French and the Americans. Over the course of a few turns, the Americans have increased their total presence in the Eastern Sea. At the end of their turns, the Americans mega-launch across their waters. Horizon, Delaware, USS Montezuma, USS Valley Forge, Septa Maria, USS James Madison, Hancock, Black Bear, USS Shark, Ghostwalker, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, fireshot and oarsman, Hessian, Philadelphia, USS New Orleans, and Celtic Fury, with Fergus of Clan Dunroch, Captain William Slade, and Tyson Young. Pirate ships are still stuck in Sargasso, much to the annoyance of the pirates. Gold has once again begun to pile up on their home island, as it trickles in from across pirate waters. At Poseidon's Eye, the Cursed upgrade their town to a trading port and discover minerals. The Skinflyer takes over for the Phantom and keeping an eye on the English sloops that sail to Poseidon's Eye. Consolidating their gold, the Cursed breach the 2,000 gold mark. Elsewhere, Shalbala, Angelica, and the Phantom dismass the Golden Medusa and Orphan. Smaug flies back to the top of Poseidon's Eye. In the sub-ocean, the various cursed monsters swim for the islands that still have treasure on them. In the eastern reaches, Kalama has almost reached the island guarded by the Locker and Pryadak. Kalim and the Pyre load tasty treasure from their island. With some clever positioning, the French get their chain exploring line up and running. At the eastern portal, the Feu de Foudre explores the Petite Dauphine and loads the Miru, which will allow her to shoot through islands and other ships. Slipping into French waters, the brave Selkirk targets the passing Venture with her treasure-swapping ability. The Venture winds up with Lodette's Revenge, while the brave Selkirk ends up with a Pakari, which will sometimes allow the ship's cannons to eliminate 2 masts with 1 hit. The new Spanish launches sail out, and are greeted by the Rociant. Loaded onto the Rociant are cargo crates, which will be meted out to the new ships. Trade continues at Kanohi Island, as the Bauchuan returns with a cargo of medicine from Sharktooth Island. At the castle, the Spanish attempt to retake the castle as the Americans did. Sadly, their efforts do not result in a Spanish victory, as the castle remains in American hands, and each participating ship loses a mast. Changing tactics, the Spanish settle for taking one of the castle towers instead, giving themselves a toehold at the structure. A wide shot of American waters, the Celtic Fury is sailing southwest with the help of a trade current and an extra action. Furious with the brave Selkirk, the Americans very nearly sail into French waters to sink or capture the submarine. However, the Americans do not want to start a conflict over something so trivial, and so elect to let the Selkirk go. For now. The situation between the French, Spanish, and Americans reaches a new high. Conflict seems inevitable, but who will fire first? With the dragons flying off, the Phantom is left alone with the derelict Golden Medusa. At Poseidon's Eye, the furthest green mace land at the minerals section of the island. Using her hoist arm, the Fitu explores Voyanui, finding relics and rum, along with some nice treasures. At the end of their turn, the French launch the Tilnel with Nikos Chilos and a helmsman at St. Pierre on the Portal. A wide shot of Spanish home waters. The raiding squadron is receiving their first round of cargo crates. On the home island, more crates have been constructed and await transport. The Spanish corner of the castle, now comprised entirely of gunships and fighters. La Fuega has docked and repaired at the trading port on Split Island. On the western side of the castle, the Cruz de Cristo turns around and makes sail for home, while the rest of the Spanish ships clear away from the storm. At the end of their turn, the Spanish launch from the Pathway Island. El Tirador, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. Asesino de la Nave, with captain, helmsman, musketeer, cannoneer, and oarsman. El Leon, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, fireshot, and oarsman. La Annunciada, with captain, helmsman, and oarsman, towing the Armada flotilla. And the Collector del Dia, with captain, helmsman, shipwright, and oarsman. The situation at the castle. American ships have packed themselves in tightly and closely, creating a barrier 3 to 4 ships deep. From the northeast looking to the southwest, the entire scope of the situation at the castle. The French and Spanish are allied, and the Americans are nervous about attacking either faction, but the Americans are quickly running out of patience. In the far west, the English have created a loose line of battle against the rest of the world, daring any and all to challenge them. An overhead shot of the pirate home island and surrounding waters. The Skipping Stone has finally gotten free of the Sargasso, and is nearly home. To the west, ships gather at the colony, discussing terms with the Americans. Her crew still intact, the Golden Medusa begins to row for home. With their home island cleaned up a little, the Kursk go about business as usual. The Guishan and canoes make trips back and forth between Poseidon's Eye and the home island, ferrying large amounts of medicine. From their island, the Kursk spots something. The Black Pearl! She sailed north after spotting the Banshee's Cry, and has found the cursed home island. Slark Gubbet emerges unscathed from the sub-ocean. At this time, the current round of resources expired, and new rolls were needed. With much anticipation, the dice were rolled, with a 10 coming up for duration and a 1 for value. For the next 10 rounds, every resource would be worth its face value. Lumber and medicine crashed hard in value, which may hurt the cursed and Spanish, and the value of medicine has soared, which may benefit the pirates and French. Speaking of the French, they make a sudden mad dash for Tutorial Island, which has suddenly become their most valuable island. Coming to the surface, the brave Selkirk transfers the Picari to the Notre Dame. Treasures are exchanged on the high seas between the Notre Dame, brave Selkirk, Wasp, Tilnel, and Muerta Rapida. Thane Heartless moves the Nautilus II into position to block the Ulysses. At the end of their turn, the French cash in all of their minerals, both stocked and newly acquired, netting themselves a hefty amount of gold. An overhead shot of Spanish waters. With the resource change, priorities are beginning to shift away from Kanohi Island to the lagoon and other Spanish-controlled islands. At the home island, several ships have loaded the necessary gold to build a max-level colony. At the castle, the Muerte del Diablo docks at Split Island to repair. The Spanish are quickly realizing that the Americans have them outnumbered, and any conflict is sure to inflict heavy losses. With metals now more valuable, Spanish resource ships make sail for the lagoon. At the end of their turn, the Spanish launched several mid-sized ships at the Pathway Island to bolster their numbers. El Duque, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. El Valiente, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. San Esteban, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. La Asesina, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and musketeer. El Extremadura, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, musketeer, and oarsman. And La Catedral del Mar, with captain, helmsman, cannoneer, and oarsman. At the pirate colony, the Americans conclude discussions with the pirates. Sailing forward, the Saratoga opens her gun ports and delivers a devastating broadside volley to the Protector de España. Keeping her distance, the Justice uses her extended range to take 2 masts off of the Castigue. Blocking for the Justice, the Atlanta slides into place and opens fire on the Castigue. The fierce fire from the Atlanta dismasts the Spanish galleon. Risking a Sargasso Sea, another Saratoga opens fire on and dismasts El San Francisco. Sailing into position, the new Ironside sets the San Salvador aflame and eliminates a mast from the Picador. Lumbering into position, the United States crosses the bow of the Pescados de Plata and sinks her with a successful broadsides attack. This opened the door for the President to sail broadside to the Shuizian and set the massive ship aflame. To the right of the President, the Boston has slammed into the Picador, but failed to ram her remaining mast off. Instead, she was able to sink the San Salvador. However, in the process, her fire shot backfired, giving herself a fire mast. With the Salvador out of the way, the Grampus moves in, dismasting the Cazadora. Given an extra action, the Aaron Burr sinks the San Francisco. On the port side of the Shuizian, the Jackson sinks the Castigue. The Minuteman positions herself in front of the Shuizian, but misses badly with her cannons. Setting the Estrella de Marfil, the USS Amethyst eliminates her stern mast. Sailing to support her, the Sea Serpent takes another mast from the Estrella de Marfil. The Shuizian loses 2 masts to the Americans, as the ship is quickly swarmed. Using the cannons of the castle, the Americans eliminate a mast from the Galleon de Gibraltar. At the castle, the Príncipe de Asturias is hit hard, reduced to a fire mast and a single mast standing. Across the American line, gun ports slide open and cannons roar to life. The Santa Ana is hit with a fire pot and has another mast eliminated. Next to her, La Resolution is also hit with a fire pot, consuming her stern mast. Several ships draw a line of fire to the Matthias Vospero, who loses a mast and gains a fire mast. Urging forward, the Hudson slams into the Vospero, but directs her cannons to the Cristal del Obispo. The Hudson is ineffective against the Obispo, but is aided by the Louisiana, who brings down one of the ship's masts. Boxing her in the shadow of the castle, the Colossus and Kentucky sink the Príncipe de Asturias. On the other side of the castle, the Freedom eliminates the last mast from the Estrella de Marfil with a successful firepot hit. An extra action is metered out, and the Marfil is sunk. With an extra action of her own, the United States slams into the Protector de España, ramming one of her last masts off, and delivers another successful broadsides attack against the Shuizian. On the eastern side of the castle, the Albany sails into the teeth of the Spanish, bringing the Santa Ana down to 1 mast standing and eliminating the stern mast of the Santo Columba. To the right, the Matthias Vospero has been dismasted. An extra action is metered out and the Vospero is sunk. This lets the Constitution enter the fray, crossing the bow of La Muerte. With the Pearl pressing in behind her, the Constitution is given an extra action and brings her guns to bear on the Santo Columba, and dismasts her. With an extra action, the Hudson sails forward and slams into La Muerte, eliminating her stern mast, and the stern mast of La Aguila to the right. The Cristal del Obispo takes a hard hit, losing 2 more masts and some crew as well, thanks to the ability of the Louisiana. Slipping into a narrow gap, the Swamp Fox dismasts La Aguila. Forcing her way in, the Georgetown eliminates another mast from the Cristal del Obispo. A wide shot of the action. The Americans have struck a devastating first blow. The Spanish line is thin, and the Americans seek to bulldoze their way through to the Spanish home island. Many of the American ships involved in the opening salvo on the eastern side of the castle are considered numbers gunships, meaning that their hard-hitting capital ships have not yet gotten involved. The same cannot be said for the western side of the castle, where the Americans have all but wiped out the western Spanish squadron. At the end of their turn, the Americans launched the USS Atlanta from the Pathway Island, and the Majestic from the trading port on Flattop Island. In the now calm Western Ocean, the English continue to gather gold. While the Americans feel that things are wrapped up, the pirates feel differently and continue discussions. The Skinflyer follows the sloops back to Erebor, but stops there, not willing to continue into English waters. Excited by all the cannon fire and noise, Rapurak moves toward the Atlanta. A storm wipes out 2 of the Spanish native canoes. And that wraps up this report. The Americans have taken action and shot first, dealing serious damage to the Spanish. The Spanish are poised to return fire and fight back, but can they win this fight? And will the French come to their aid? If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.